In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on November 16, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Ohio State versus Northwestern. The Northwestern Wildcats will face off against the Ohio State Buckeyes in a Big Ten matchup this Saturday afternoon at the iconic Wrigley Field. Ohio State, sitting at an impressive 8-1, appears poised for a coveted spot in the college football playoffs, but they know better than to underestimate Northwestern. The Wildcats have faced a tough season and still need 2 more wins to become bowl eligible, adding urgency to this game. Historically, the Buckeyes have dominated this series, winning the last 10 matchups, although the most recent 2 games were competitive well into the second half. However, this year's game isn't expected to be as close, though it's still worth fans' attention. Ohio State ranks among the nation's elite teams, showcasing a balanced roster with both a high-powered offense and a formidable defense. Northwestern, on the other hand, has a respectable defense, particularly against the run, but their offense struggles mightily, ranking outside the top 100 in both rushing and passing. Offensively, Northwestern relies heavily on their tight end position, and losing their top option has been a setback. Conversely, Ohio State boasts not only a potent offense stacked with talent, but also the nation's top-ranked defense, allowing them to dominate opponents. Given the stakes of a playoff berth, Ohio State has every reason to maintain their intensity. They have covered the spread in consecutive games, and their athletic advantage is expected to be a significant factor. Although Northwestern has managed to keep things competitive in their last 2 encounters with Ohio State, those previous Wildcats teams were stronger than this year's squad. Northwestern's defense may keep them in the game early on, but their offense ranks 131st nationally in total yards and 120th in scoring, making it difficult to keep up with Ohio State's explosive offense. The Buckeyes, with their ability to score quickly, have the upper hand, and it seems unlikely that Northwestern will be able to keep pace in what's expected to be a challenging game. It's hard to see how Northwestern will find ways to score against Ohio State's elite defense. The Buckeyes are coming off a dominant 45-0 win over Purdue, and a similar outcome could be on the horizon in this matchup. Although Ohio State is favored by one of the larger spreads in the Big Ten this week, the Ohio State Buckeyes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes are set to put their ranking on the line when they take on the Northwestern Wildcats at Wrigley Field. In their last game, Ohio State dismantled Purdue 45-0, covering a hefty 37-point spread, and the game went under the total points line of 56. The Buckeyes' defense has tightened considerably, allowing just 10 points per game over the past 3 contests, and holding 8 of their 9 opponents to 17 points or less this season, including 2 shutouts. Overall, they lead the nation in key defensive stats, permitting only 250.8 total yards, 155.6 passing yards, 95.2 rushing yards, and just 11 points per game. Northwestern, meanwhile, picked up a narrow 26-20 overtime victory in their last outing on November 2nd, marking only the 4th time this season they've scored 24 points or more. The Wildcats' offense has struggled, averaging just 288.1 total yards per game, with 176 passing yards, 112.1 rushing yards, and 19 points per game. Defensively, Northwestern has done a reasonable job, allowing 22 points per game, though their pass defense has given up an average of 241 yards per game. This statistic plays in favor of Ohio State's passing game, led by quarterback Will Howard and wide receiver Jeremiah Smith, who could capitalize on this weakness. Ohio State's defensive prowess should enable them to stymie Northwestern's offense, one of the least productive in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes lead the nation in defensive metrics, and with the total points set at 49 or lower, the under is 4-0 in such Ohio State games this season, underscoring their ability to dominate defensively and even shut teams out. While Ohio State is expected to score comfortably on Saturday, Northwestern's offense is likely to struggle against the Buckeyes' elite defense. The Wild Wildcats may struggle just to put together a few successful drives. Although Ohio State has the firepower to run up the score, they may opt for a ground-heavy approach on the road, aiming to control the clock and secure a win without overextending themselves. The passing game will play a role, but likely not enough to replicate last week's score against Purdue. The under has cashed in both of the last 2 meetings between these teams and in 3 straight games for Ohio State, making it a strong possibility again this Saturday. Ultimately, Northwestern lacks the offensive power to stay competitive, and while their defense may limit Ohio State somewhat, the likely outcome is a 35-6 type of game. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas versus Arkansas. With an upset in mind, the Arkansas Razorbacks will host the 3rd-ranked Texas Longhorns in a highly anticipated Southeastern Conference matchup on Saturday afternoon. Texas showcased their strength last weekend by dismantling Florida 49-17, covering as heavy 23-point home favorites. Arkansas, meanwhile, is coming off a bye week, but their previous performance saw them falter defensively in a tough 63-31 home loss to number 19 Ole Miss, failing to cover as 8-point underdogs. This game marks the 80th meeting in a historic rivalry largely controlled by Texas, who holds a commanding 56-23 all-time record over Arkansas. However, the Razorbacks claimed victory in their last encounter, winning 40-21 at home in 2021. Arkansas, having surrendered a staggering 63 points to the Southeastern Conference's top-ranked defense in their last outing, could find themselves in a precarious position again as they face Texas, the 4th-best defense in the conference. With quarterback Quinn Ewers back to form, the Longhorns are primed to exploit Arkansas' struggling defense, particularly through the air, where the Razorbacks rank as the Southeastern Conference's worst pass defense. Arkansas offense, led by quarterback KJ Jefferson, will look to respond, but Jefferson may be limited by a recent knee issue. This could disrupt Arkansas' offensive rhythm against Texas, who brings one of the country's most formidable defenses to the field, currently ranked 4th nationally. The Longhorns enter the game on a strong note, having won 4 of their last 5 matchups, while Arkansas has struggled, dropping 3 of their last 5 games. Texas boasts a clear offensive advantage, as they possess the 9th best passing offense in the nation, going up against an Arkansas defense that ranks 129th in pass defense. The Razorbacks allowed over 500 passing yards in their last game, a weakness that Texas is well equipped to exploit. Meanwhile, Arkansas offensive options may be limited. Their ground game, ranked 41st nationally, will face stiff resistance from Texas' 21st ranked run defense, making it difficult for the Razorbacks to establish their rushing attack. Additionally, with Texas' top-rated pass defense holding opponents to under 150 passing yards per game, Arkansas may struggle to find success through the air as well. Currently, Texas holds a 6-3 record against the spread this season, while Arkansas is also 6-3 against the spread but has gone just 2-3 against the spread at home. Given these factors, Texas is favored to win and cover the spread in this contest. This matchup brings together 2 of the Southeastern Conference's most potent offenses, promising plenty of scoring action. However, it also pits Arkansas against one of the toughest defenses in the nation, with Texas ranking 4th in scoring defense. Despite allowing an average of 24 points per game over their last 3 contests, Texas defense is still a major challenge for Arkansas. This slight drop in defensive stats might offer Arkansas a few scoring opportunities, as evidenced by their ability to post 31 points even in a blowout loss 2 weeks ago. Arkansas has managed to score at least 24 points in 6 games this season, suggesting they may put some points on the board. The Longhorns, who started the season with high-scoring performances, saw a slight dip in production when conference play began, but have regained their scoring momentum, as evidenced by last week's dominant win. With both teams likely to contribute to the scoreline, and with 11 games between the 2 teams hitting the over this season, the total points should exceed the projected total, making over the projected total our full game total pick. Clemson versus Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Panthers will welcome the Clemson Tigers to Acrisure Stadium on Saturday afternoon in what promises to be a pivotal Atlantic Coast Conference showdown. Both teams come into the game with 7-2 records, keeping alive their hopes of reaching the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. However, Clemson holds a slight advantage in the conference standings, currently sitting in 2nd place, while Pittsburgh finds itself in 5th. An upset by Pitt could dramatically shift the standings, intensifying the race to the championship. The last time these two teams faced off was in 2021, with Pitt emerging victorious in a 27-17 contest. With the series split evenly over the last 4 matchups, this game is shaping up to be one of the most impactful and eagerly anticipated games on Saturday's college football schedule, attracting attention from fans across the nation. The Clemson Tigers bounced back from a tough home loss to Louisville by securing a commanding road victory over Virginia Tech last week, showcasing their resilience in a hostile environment. Clemson's defense stifled Virginia Tech, limiting the Hokies to just 228 total yards and an average of only 1.9 yards per carry. The Tigers excelled on third downs, converting 9 of their 19 attempts, while holding Virginia Tech to a mere 2 of 14 on third down conversions. This impressive performance also allowed Clemson to dominate time of possession, keeping the ball for over 13 minutes longer than their opponent. As they prepare for this week's road game at Pittsburgh, Clemson is facing its second consecutive game away from home, a situation in which they previously thrived, securing a decisive 49-14 victory over Wake Forest during their last back-to-back road stretch. The Pittsburgh Panthers, on the other hand, are coming off a difficult stretch, suffering 2 straight losses that were marred by offensive struggles. Pittsburgh's offense has notably faltered since their Week 7 victory over Cal, failing to capitalize on scoring opportunities and struggling with turnovers. While the Panthers did manage to score 3 defensive touchdowns against Syracuse, their offense hasn't posted more than 25 points in any game since their win over North Carolina approximately 6 weeks ago. Even their 25-point performance in the loss to SMU was misleading, as they only had 11 points heading into the 4th quarter before adding 14 late game points when the outcome was already largely determined. Pittsburgh's recent challenges in maintaining possession of the ball have also affected their ability to control the game. In 3 of their last 4 games, the Panthers have been dominated in the time of possession battle, a direct result of poor third down conversion rates. Over this stretch, Pitt has converted only 12 of 50 third down attempts. Facing a Clemson defense that ranks 10th nationally in third down conversion defense, Pitt will likely have a tough time improving these numbers. Clemson's defense allows Football Bowl subdivision opponents to convert on less than 30% of their third down attempts. The Tigers are expected to come out strong, given that this is their last conference game before closing the season with non-conference matchups against the Citadel and South Carolina. Clemson needs a win and some favorable results from other teams to secure their place in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. While there is an understandable appeal in backing Pitt as a home underdog, especially on Senior Day, the Panthers have been flirting with defeat throughout the season, with recent games against SMU and Virginia underscoring their vulnerability. Given that Clemson's conference season wraps up with this matchup, expect the Tigers to come out with intensity and focus, aiming to control their postseason destiny. With Pittsburgh's inability to sustain drives or consistently score, the Clemson Tigers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Pittsburgh is likely to be without their starting quarterback and could also miss one of the Atlantic Coast Conference's top wide receivers, a potential double blow to their already struggling offense. Facing a Clemson defense that ranks among the best in the nation, Pitt's offense will likely face significant challenges. Clemson, meanwhile, is expected to emphasize its run game, aiming to control the clock and limit Pitt's offensive opportunities. Although Clemson may still attempt a few deep shots downfield, the Tigers are likely to lean heavily on their rushing attack to manage the game tempo and wear down the Panthers' defense. This should result in a fast-paced game with a significant number of rushing plays, potentially suppressing overall scoring. Despite Clemson's offensive prowess, this game is unlikely to be a high-scoring affair. Pittsburgh's run defense ranks 10th in the nation, allowing only 3 yards per carry, which could prove effective in limiting Clemson's primary running back, Phil Maffa, who has accumulated 981 rushing yards this season. If the Panthers can maintain their defensive performance in the trenches, Clemson may face challenging third and long situations, leading to shorter gains and fewer points overall. On the other side, Clemson's defense has steadily improved, holding opponents to an average of just 17.5 points per game over the last 6 contests. Based on recent trends, a final score in the neighborhood of 28-20 seems reasonable. Even with Clemson's ability to generate explosive plays, this matchup has the makings of a lower scoring game, making under the projected total our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.